Hey everyone, welcome to Fatso Radio. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Tonight, another episode for you guys. Another Friday night tonight, August 28th. We're almost done August, folks. What have you done for August? I know what I've done. I've been biking a lot. I've been enjoying it. I've had a lot of great fun with it. Next month, I even got something different. I think I'm going to run. I don't want to let out the cat out of the bag, but I think I'm going to start running. Or we're going to try it at least. See how it goes. I have a great episode for you guys tonight. Last night I had a great chat with Nick and Christie from Meet the Butcher, Sioux Prime Cuts over in Sault Ste. Marie. I have an awesome butcher shop there. We get into it, folks. We get into the stuff that really matters. What's going on? How are we feeding our families? How are we staying healthy during all of this crazy times and crazy ups and downs? We're adjusting, we're pivoting, and what are we doing? So please put your hands together for Nick and Christie. Show them some love. Visit them, call them, go online, ask them questions. They're really all about sharing and learning what the knowledge they have and the good products that they have as well. So before that, don't forget to check out Volpe Martial Arts, folks. Volpe Martial Arts is always my sponsor. Volpe Martial Arts, I'm going to talk about them till the day I die. Volpe Martial Arts, my brother, Sifu Adam, has this amazing Kung Fu and Hapkido school. That's what it is. It's a great fusion of Kung Fu and Hapkido, the Chinese Kung Fu with the Korean martial art of the Hapkido, amazing fusion of self-defense and forms and sparring. And you learn how to break fall, you learn how to break boards, you learn how to protect yourself, you learn how to you gain confidence, you learn discipline, and you get in great shape, right? An amazing camaraderie. There's a community there. We were doing online with the Zooms classes. Now we're back in the pool. We're back on the grass. We're inside, outside. It's all over the place. So don't forget to check them out. WolpeMartialArts.com. And when you do, check them out. Don't forget to check out their free trial. They have 2-week free trial going on. Talk to Sifu Adam Volpe. That's my brother. All right, folks. Put your hands together. Meet the Butcher. Sioux Prime Cuts, Nick and Christie. I love you so much. Lily, take it away.
Fatso Radio, the really great podcast show.
Fatso Radio, the really great podcast show.
So get your butt and get in your chair.
Don't eat your nails and don't pull your hair.
We'll talk about chicken or talk about steak.
We'll talk about fat, for goodness sake.
Fatso, the really great podcast show.
Fatso, our very first podcast show.
Hey everybody, welcome to Fatso Radio, episode number 82. And tonight I have recurring guests. Welcome back, Nick and Christie. Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
Thanks so much for coming, guys. It's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to talking to you again. It's been a while. I think the last time we were on, or the first time you were on, was episode number 46. So it's been almost the same amount of time. We just circled back last year. We have a lot of things to talk about. Of course, Nick, you want to talk? Maybe if you want to talk about it now, but you had a bit of a head injury. So you were telling me earlier that Christie's definitely stepped up a lot over the Christmas time and even the last couple of months, really taking over and really kind of handling the business for you. So I definitely want to talk about that. And then I guess maybe we can get into, COVID and all the things you've changed, you've kind of had to adjust to, and what's like with your business, any maybe struggles you've seen. But before that, welcome, guys. And what's new?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I love to connect. Like I said, I'm for everybody who knows me, I'm from the Sioux, right? I still like to connect from the Sioux. I love to connect still with people in Kitchener, but everywhere else. So yeah, it's my pleasure. So let's get right into it, guys. It's the first thing I want to talk to you kind of is, and probably Chris is probably the best one to answer this, but what's been the biggest change for COVID, or what's maybe been your experience through COVID? You can maybe walk me through it, like right from the initial, oh my God, we don't know what's going on, we're doors closed, to how do you introduce him back to, what's your, how are your customers handling it? So
it's been a bit of a whirlwind the past few months, that's for sure. We did actually close our doors to the public back in March before the state of emergency started. We were still open, we were still doing pickup and delivery, but once there was an increase in cases in the Sioux, we decided for our own safety, for the public safety, we have family, kids, things like that. We said, no, we don't want to expose ourselves like this anymore, especially when we didn't know what was happening. The border was still open, all that kind of stuff. So, there were a lot of customers that were upset at the beginning, but we moved on to online ordering. We had to hire a new employee just to take orders because our phones were ringing off the hook. The Facebook was blowing up. So yeah, people really adapted to doing online, and
I guess anyone who lost us found us, really.
yeah, exactly. There was people who hadn't been to us since our new location. We've been here for over a year, more like a year and a half now, but there was still people who hadn't come back since we closed the old location. So by being more present, I guess, in the community through online and word of mouth and things like that, people really reached out. We also expanded a lot of what we carried because there were so many shortages in the grocery stores. We brought back in having eggs, milk, butter. We did all kinds of produce, yeast, flour. These people were making their own bread, and they're having a hard time with the necessities. And we built different packages so people could just say, "Okay, give me the $60 package, the $100 package, whatever. This is what comes with it." They can fill their freezer. It's definitely hectic in the beginning because everyone was stockpiling, filling up their freezers like crazy. We even had to say no to some orders, or even tell them, they would order one day, but it was going to be 4 or 5 days before they could get their order because there was just so much. Nick and myself and a few of the other staff were working 12, 13-hour days every day.
Coming in at 4 a.m.
Oh yeah, we had quite a few. We still made the best of it. We still had fun. We were exhausted, but I mean, at the same time, shortly after that, everything else closed, right? So it's like, what are you going to do anyways? We were just thankful to get the business, seeing all these other small businesses closing their doors and not being able, some of them haven't even reopened and probably never will. So we're really thankful that the business did well throughout everything. We also had communities reach out to us to put together bulk packages that they then bought and delivered. So we were doing a lot of meat deliveries in Garden River. We also had Chaplow. They picked some up. What else did we have? Aboriginal Housing picked some orders up and delivered to their clients.
We shipped out to Manitoulin
Yeah,
Island.
we had a few deliveries to Manitoulin Island. We had 2 whole pallets.
Skids of products.
Yeah, so that definitely made for long days because there was very few of us. We definitely lost a lot of staff in the beginning. Most of it was for health reasons. They weren't comfortable working during the pandemic. And then...
It's scary, yeah.
Yeah, so we were just kind of making the best of it. Then fast forward a few months, come June, things are starting to slow down. We don't have as many online orders anymore. People are kind of getting back into the flow. Other businesses are open. Because of the type of business we are, we could have been open to the public the entire time.
Sure.
But it was just working for us, being closed and doing online at the time. So many more people were preferring that way, contactless delivery, prepay, that kind of stuff. So June, right before Father's Day, we opened back up to the public, and there was a lot of speed bumps to go over for that, for sure. Yeah. Had to get PPE for all the staff. We had to buy the plexiglass, tape the floor, get all the hand sanitizer. Normally in a butcher shop, we don't use hand sanitizer because Algoma Public Health is...
Or gloves.
Yeah, wash your hands, because the gloves... they can be contaminant, and hand sanitizer, you're basically just moving all that bacteria all over your hand, especially if it's meat. So it doesn't really do much. But because of the pandemic, we had hand sanitizer at the front door for customers. Staff had hand sanitizer up at the cash so that they could rinse in between customers. We had to rope off a whole bunch of in front of our counters. So now it's starting to become difficult to hear people because there's already so many fans, all the compressors, it's loud in our building. But you're now standing, it's more like 8 feet from us and the customer because you have our big meat case plus a table and a rope to kind of separate to keep that social distancing. And then now that masks are mandatory, you add the mask onto that and it's even more difficult.
Can't hear anything, everybody's yelling.
Yes. So things are sort of back to normal. Okay. Staff is still a struggle because most of the staff who left during the pandemic have not come back. They've either are still refusing to work or moved on to do other things. we had some students come on, first time job, so that was kind of fun, you know, teaching these young teenagers what it's like to work. And here they are working during a pandemic, which is a little different than when we all had our first job.
Yes.
Yeah. And now we're gearing up for game season and cow season. It's been crazy.
Okay. So I want to get into that. So before we get into the cow and game season, or talk about that, what's it like for someone kind of who wants to get into the business? Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe we can start kind of a segue. If someone wants to get into butchering, or someone just has an interest in it, is it just a matter of kind of finding a local butcher shop and coming to see you guys and say, hey, you know, I'm looking for work, I'm looking to learn, or is there something? Is there courses and you can take?
Well, I was right before COVID. Funny you. We got inspected by where is his card? Frank Nacarado. I'm gonna put his card up here.
All
from
right.
Yeah. So he inspected our facility. Kind of interviewed me and Christie. Looked around, and he says this is gonna work. And at first, I was I just hit my head. Like I wasn't really processing what was going on.
Yeah.
So it was from what I take from it, it was an on-site inspection and interview.
Okay.
And they wanted, they were going to, but turn into a teaching facility.
Wow.
So they wanted me to instruct. I had to do. They got what was it? Flight and hotels booked. I was supposed to do a demo at the Expo Center in Toronto, Mississauga. 30,000 people, all lined up, and the end goal was that I helped with the testing, and we were going to create a program, a 1 year, 2 year, to get butchery back on the trade.
Yes.
Because it's been declassified.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
COVID happened. So,
yeah, because actually Nick was supposed to go down to Mississauga in March, it was March. He was supposed to go down to the expo, and it was literally like the day before he was supposed to leave. They finally canceled it because that was when more and more outbreaks were happening down in Toronto. But yeah, it was like this big butcher competition, and there was chefs that were there, butchers, and all this. So it would have been a great opportunity for them as well as us, because we could have showed off, like, this do exists. We do have jobs up here.
We don't live in log houses.
Yeah,
Exactly. That'd be a great way to kind of showcase your skills and passing on the knowledge, right?
Well, that's what it was. I had to process a whole deer in 30 minutes.
Wow.
Which I could do a moose in 30 minutes. So this was going to be easy.
That's awesome.
But that was going to help get us into it, and kind of because we were retooling ourselves, we're a lot younger than the established shops around us. Our way of thinking is not, I won't say more advanced, but it's geared towards a constant changing. Yeah. And whereas it's either Italian or it's not the way up here, you know?
Oh, for sure. The old school. Yeah. The way Grandpa did it, or the way, yeah. Well, because, so I see that.
I was just saying, we put out postings too, like looking for meat cutters, and most of the time you don't even get any resumes, and if we do, they work one shift and it's not for them, and they're gone. So if
someone, so if I was looking to try and go through the scenario, I see you're posting for a meat cutter, and I want to start a job as a meat cutter. Do I need prior experience, or like if I'm willing to work, I'm willing to learn?
Like that, we hire more on soft skill than hard skill.
Makes sense.
Because I don't want to be trying to reteach you. If you've already cured all these bad habits, or you already think you know what's going on, you might be able to show me something. I'm not going to say you can't, or like there's a lot out there, but you're also applying for a job and you're unemployed, so you've done something to to show your previous employer that you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, like you're willing to teach how to be a meat cutter,
Yeah.
but it's not your job to teach them how to be a nice person and kind and
Exactly.
how to show up on time. They should know how to do that. No, I get it for sure. So do you think there is the idea, I guess, would be the goal to like bring it back to a certification, because butchering is not a certification now? Is
No.
So currently it's not. I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think my dad was telling me, he's like, hey, Carlo, when I became a chef, I was a butcher as well. Is that accurate to say that he kind of got both back then?
I couldn't. I
think he said something like that.
Say that, but there's two classifications in Ontario.
Okay.
You have a meat cutter, which we are.
Okay.
And then you got a butcher, which is someone who would work in an abattoir doing the slaughtering.
Okay.
But they are not a retail meat cutter. They would also have to do the test to be a retail meat cutter.
Okay. So there is two
But
distinctions.
for simplicity's sake, everyone just says butcher.
Butcher, but it's meat cutter.
Yeah. But so your dad would have been probably a retail meat cutter, unless he was pulling the 22 to these hogs.
In the garage, but maybe.
Maybe a lot of rabbits, eh?
Yeah, we had a couple goats in the garage when I was a kid, but definitely as part of his training, it would make sense to be the commercial meat cutter. Would go hand in hand with culinary as well, right?
Especially back when your dad was.
Yeah.
Like, because stuff came in, it didn't come in boxed and pretty like it does now.
Came in, the side came in, you quartered it. Yeah, you did. You
had to do it yourself.
Wow. And so I guess the next question is that, because I'm a little surprised maybe on one hand that maybe there's not more interest, but I guess this time is really weird because of COVID, obviously. But I do feel that there's definitely a resurgence, or at least maybe a renewed interest in butchering and in hunting even, and even in maybe getting back to the outdoors and doing all that stuff. And maybe it's just because of my circle and I'm in my bubble of, the ancestral health and the paleo, the keto, the carnivore. But I see a lot more people being interested in hunting and fishing and all that stuff. That does actually, how does that play into what you guys are doing? Like, do you see more people kind of asking more questions about the meat, or is that even a valid question? Or do people say, no, I just want a steak, give me whatever you want? I wonder if that has, do hunters come in with different questions as well, or maybe I have too many questions in there, but does that make sense?
No, it does. I know from just working on the counter, a lot of people, they've never bought real meat before. They don't buy from butcher shops, I've had someone bring in a flyer. Well, can you match this price? I was like, I can't. And they're like, why? I was like, that's his product of Mexico.
Yeah.
I'm not going to match that price. I can't even get that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it was a big grocer having a sale. I was like, well, that's how they do it. You're not getting what you think you're buying, but they're still saying product of Mexico. You're going to get that piece of beef,
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but if I got to ship up containers and containers of beef from Mexico, it probably ain't going to be the freshest.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And even if it was like the best beef that, from some people ship the best beef all over the world or whatever, that's such a silly idea and such a wasteful idea too, to ship it from Mexico when we have, arguably the best beef when you're next door in your backyard, probably, right? Your neighbor can grow the best beef, the guy, anywhere, right? If he does the right thing.
Just a little side note, there was a cattle truck that did tip over last year.
Really?
And we had rampant beef running through the northern part of the city, which the M&R okayed for people to go out and hunt.
Wow. And they pick them up? They took care of them all?
Yeah. I think there was about 6 or 7 that they couldn't find. So they're like, okay, hunters, you got to call it in first and let us know what you're doing. But you can't just unload them.
Yeah. That's not a bad find for a hunter.
No, but we ended up getting a couple of them here, and I was just like, what's going on? And I'm like,
wow.
Oh no, and I was like, oh man,
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
and just
sorry.
and essentially the same kind of beef that you would have got from regular process.
They were on their way to the processing, right? They were on their way to be slaughtered anyway.
Wow,
so,
that's all right.
From farm to plate.
But we did also find with COVID that we got new customers because they didn't want to go to Metro or the other big box grocery stores because they didn't want to be in public and all this. And there was also limits on how much meat you could buy, shortages, all this. So it tried us out, and now, I mean, I guess we're still in the pandemic, but now that things are into the new normal, they're still coming to us. They're like, wow, I can't believe what I was eating before, and they're really paying more attention to what they're buying.
Yeah, I don't have to eat as much to be full. It's not so greasy. It's this is real. This is real product. This is Canadian product.
Yeah.
This is what we do. And then you get the flip side. Well, that's not right. That's not how it should taste. It's like, look, you smoke bologna. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, if you're kind of used to one product, right, and even if it's an inferior product, right, you're going to think even a possibly superior product's not going to be as good until you kind of get adjusted to it and kind of relearn what. But that's interesting. You also said too, but like, if people are this was an interesting time that people had an opportunity to learn when normally, when they're also stressed out at the same time, which is kind of ironic, but like, oh my God, what am I going to do to find meat? I don't want to go to Walmart and line up. I don't want to go to the Supercenter or whatever to line up in a huge line. There's a butcher down the street, which maybe I should have went to anyway a week before, but it's interesting because now I have the opportunity to go, I'm going to see this local butcher. He's a local guy. I can call him, I can call them, and they can have an order, and it's the pivot, I guess we've done to this online ordering and curbside pickup and pre-order. It of course, like, it makes sense that we did it. I'm glad we made that flip because, hey, let's take advantage of our technology, right? We had this here we could have prepaid a long time ago, right? We could have did roadside pickup a long time ago. It almost reminds me of, I just stopped working in technology, but it reminds me of working, the idea of work. Now, a lot of guys that I used to work with, a lot of gals I used to work with are now working from home. Well, we could have did that 20 years ago. Like literally at the millennium, we were doing the same type of jobs we're doing today, same type of remote work as we're doing today 20 years ago, you know what I mean? So all that money kind of wasted and all that money spent in investment on these buildings and artificial lights and all that stuff, and I think this is kind of another reminder, like the fact that you can go to your butcher next door, and now not only are you teaching that you can go to your butcher, it's better, and you're gonna like it, right? And then you're gonna pay, if you pay $1 more a pound or $2 more a pound, you're gonna see why it's worth it, right? Like you said, it's like Snickers versus better food, right? Once you get better food, it's better for you. So, do you think, Nick? Do you think we'll be able to catch on where you left off eventually with the whole training thing or the certification?
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think it's more retooling and modernizing the structures that are in place.
Okay.
To facilitate a class, because now you ain't gonna be wearing a mask in the back when you're telling someone to get the knife out of your hand because
exactly.
you're training butchers. You're going to be you're going to be this close to somebody.
You need to make sure that his knife is in the right spot before it doesn't.
Yeah, like you're gonna, you see the ghosts. You wrap your arms around them. And,
yeah. Well, I mean, to that point, like I learned how to work a little bit in the kitchen with my dad, and it's life or death here sometimes. There's sharp equipment, there's hot things, and yeah, absolutely. So you need that hand to hand.
But the speed it will process, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But we're more than eager to get us back on track there because we were also we were in trial for Team Canada as well. Meet the Butcher.
Okay. Oh,
okay. If you didn't know, there's a national meat cutting team for Canada.
I didn't know that. Please expand on that.
There's a national meat cutting team for Canada.
That's awesome.
And it's a worldwide competition.
Really?
And it's all about. You just Google it, man, and
that's cool.
Or YouTube it, whatever. That when people ask me how to cook something, I say Google it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the Frank Nacarado, he's the one who brought it up to my attention, this and that, and he's the one who told me I got to try out for it. So
that's awesome. So did you try out, or was it?
Well, COVID happened.
Oh, that was right before that.
Yeah,
okay.
That was all the same time. So.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah.
I did see an email come through recently that was like that had to do with the best butcher. It wasn't national, but this email came in last week and they want you to do this in like middle of September.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's a little short notice. We're still in a pandemic. Like, how is that even gonna happen? Like, we don't even know how school's gonna work. How are you gonna have a conference or this?
That's true.
So I'm sure they're still working out the kinks, and hopefully next year or the year after there'll be some more competitions coming up again.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, I definitely think that butchering itself, or meat cutting, retail meat cutting, essentially, is becoming more in the mainstream. I do see, people taking advantage of technology. Like I said, there are YouTube videos out there. I've seen videos on how to take apart every animal, basically. I've seen take apart beef and everything, and it's so interesting. And I like the fact that people have the ability now to see it and not just watch it. Though it's like the next step. Let's get out there, right? Let's get out there and either hunt or get out there and learn, right? I guess what I'm getting at is like, if there's ever been a time, right? Maybe this is getting my preachy 2020 talk, but if there's ever been a time, right, to want to be a meat cutter, and if you've always wanted to, I mean, this is the time, I guess. Or if there's ever time to do something different, like we've always been taught, or I guess over the last couple of months, a lot of us have been reminded, like, that it's been kind of brought to our attention that this time has made us reflect. I guess what I'm getting at, right? The family, the friends, our careers. What are we doing? Are we spinning our wheels? And I think this is, I guess, maybe my public service announcement saying, if you do want to be a butcher, anybody, if you do want to be a meat cutter, it's amazing, because not only are you going to be providing a service like everybody needs, right? Everything from a gas attendant to a baker, but you get to see where your food is coming from. And that's one of the things that I actually took it for granted growing up, right? My dad was always cutting meat. He was always hanging stuff. And I always knew where it was coming from. But then after, when I grew up and I learned that people didn't know where it was from, I was like, wow. You know what I mean by that? Like, so your customers must be surprised oftentimes, right?
Oh, some of the younger ones, they have a hard time with the smell.
Yeah.
They don't even want to see it hanging up in the back.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, well, why'd you come here?
Yeah.
Like,
but it's a part of life, right? Like, I mean, if it was me and you and our grandparents were there, we'd say, stop me and say, hey, just look at it.
I'd still be holding the rabbit's head while they
taking a cut a piece of it.
Yeah. So, but that, it's a cultural shift in the way the generations have started raising for the next generation, and everything's been so PG and protected and shielded.
It's true.
Like, people, they don't understand that. Yeah, meat. It comes from somewhere. These aren't all, like, yes, there's some farms that have disrespected and have misused and abused these animals, but for the large part, no.
Exactly.
And
I always try and mention that. It reminds me, because I always try and remind people that, like, these farmers and these ranchers, people that raise animals, and these people love their animals. Like, I know a few farmers now, and like, raising animals, growing up in that whole environment. Like, first of all, you never abuse your animals for many reasons. One, financially. Two, it's ethically. Three, it's just we have souls. We have conscience.
no morals. Yeah.
Exactly. And people, once they realize how much, in fact, not only do they not hate their animals, but they love their animals, right? And these are the people that love the animals probably the most out of the world. It's funny, even ironically, probably more than a lot of people maybe that choose to be vegan because of ethical reasons or what have you. But I understand that, like, and I think that one of the reasons, if I'm saying this correct, I think that one of the reasons why we're seeing possibly an uptick in vegetarianism or veganism in the last maybe 20, 30 years, even 40 years, is because we have seen a decline in the butchers. We have seen less people hunting. Right? We've been less exposed to what it is to actually take a life, to consume it, to be thankful, right? And then just go on with our life. And I think because we saw death less and less over the last maybe 2 or 3 decades, sometimes I think that people forget that we're animals. You know what I mean? Like, we're animals that need to eat. And quite honestly, if a cow ate meat and could catch me, it would eat me. Right? Like, if it was a predator and I was the prey, it would eat me. So, they have no ethical qualms. No animals have ethical qualms about eating what they eat. So I don't think that we should, as long as we're doing it in a respectful way. I think that's just quite simply, right? But I think just to that point, like, do you agree that you think maybe if we bring it more back to a bit of a more mainstream thing, like, let's televise more of the butcher stuff, let's have the competitions. I think that's good for the industry, but it's also good for our health. Well,
yeah, absolutely. But we gotta stop with you only want this piece. Yeah. You want to get boneless chicken breast. Well, what are you gonna do with the rest of it? Well, we throw it up. No, you make a soup, asshole.
Yeah. Make the best soup. Like, the best soup. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like people want a side of beef, but they don't want any of the shank. I was like, well, then you ain't getting the side of beef. Yeah. What am I gonna sit on fucking 40 pounds of shank for?
Yeah, exactly.
So. And I don't want to push this too soon, but we're going to launch a fall promo, which is a side of beef or a full beef, but it's going to come with a recipe. So that, because it's not taught anymore. it's not like it's not the school system to teach you how to raise your kids.
Yeah.
And it's not the school system to, like, we've had a few employees where we fucking needed an instruction manual just for the broom. Like, you know, like you're 16.
Yeah. Oh, if I could tell you some stories my dad told me back in the restaurant days.
Oh, but you could get away with doing stuff back then.
Well, yeah, I guess so. No, but that's a good point. Like it's they're removed, right? They're from it, and I think that reintroduce that.
Then that's what. But we want to do it in like a millennial, a not futuristic, but an up to date way.
Yes.
Like a big thing about our shop and what Christie pushes for, like with this online stores, keeping us relevant and pushing us forward, not staying on a rock in the water.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
that's important, right? And like you said, like whether it's your new customers or whether it's your regular customers, whether any demographic, I mean, everybody wants the newest, the newest technology, right? And I guess, you know, as the world becomes more connected, you know, through media and everything, doesn't matter what city you're in, you want what you can see, and you see it all online, right?
Yeah. But if you're never taught, like if your parents only brought home chicken and cooked it at 400 degrees, until it was, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna buy a chicken. I know to cook it at 400 degrees. When I see smoke, it's done.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that reminds me too, is that, so I wonder if there's somehow we can, like, I can kind of like corral the butchers, the farmers, you know, eat with this whole, the paleo, the keto, even the carnivore movement, because one of the things that I'm really getting interested in now, and I think what speaks to what you're saying is the whole nose to tail idea, right? That was the ancestral way. When you took, whether it was a buffalo or a deer or whatever it is, you took the animal, you used as much as you could use. And I think that plays to your point too, right? A side of beef is, I mean, you know, for a lot of people, beef is just a couple steaks. Or if they see a tenderloin, what's that? Oh my God, it looks like a tongue to them. They have no idea. A tenderloin comes from, you know, the inside, right? And then you said something like shanks. Oh my God, you know, what would you do with that? So that's a really good idea. It's a reminder to me, because one of the things that I search for now with my keto diet, but even a carnivore diet, is nutrient density, right? So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, but I know from my research that the most nutrient dense food and the most nutrient dense parts of the animal are the organs, the bone marrow, right? The stuff that most people don't even want, right? The stuff that they probably, in some butcher shops, probably throw out these days. I hope they don't. But what can you speak about that? Because for me, liver, brain, kidney, like heart, tongue, testicle, I mean, everything, right? You can literally eat from, you know, from nose to tail. Do you supply some of that stuff? Is there a demand for that? Let's talk about that. The organs specifically, and then
the demand is once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right? Your doctor says you need to eat more iron, eat some liver.
Yeah.
Well, if you've seen a beef liver or a calf liver, it's friggin' 35 pounds.
Huge. I bought a whole calf liver. Yeah, they're big.
Yeah. But that, once again, your dad ate it, his dad ate it, you ate it. Do your kids eat it? No. And I'm trying, and it's hard, but it's like, it's hard.
It's a struggle.
And that's what a lot, where we're losing ground in our old demographic, or can I say old or old?
Yeah, sure.
Our past demographic, because the way that people eat now is more, not so much it's clean or tidy, you know, it's make-believe. It's got filters.
Yeah, it's almost whitewashed, I want to say, without offending white people.
Yeah, I don't know what to. I don't know if you see the air quotations.
But yeah, no, it's like you know, the all the flavor and all the kind of the real world is kind of washed out of it. But it's funny because all those old flavors maybe is where the nutrients were hiding. Because
that's what you loved, you know. When you hear someone say, "Well, I haven't had this since Grandma made it," and then you realize you're just eating turkey offals, you're eating chip chop, and they're like, "Oh, that's
exactly, yep."
You know, you don't know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're going to try and push, because a lot of people now are shopping to fill freezers.
Yes.
And they're economy shopping. They're not. Yeah. And that's what I can give you a $300 gift certificate to spend in my store.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see, look at those kebabs. Look at this fancy. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah. You're going to spend that $300 and have 5 meals.
Yeah.
Or you can spend it wisely in one of the what we're trying to do, and your freezer's full. You're going to have 6 months of food, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. And I like that idea, because it's almost like it's piggybacking off the idea of spending money or saving money and being, not wasting is actually the most nutritious way to eat anyway, right? Less preservatives, less crap, anything that's packaged, anything that was pre-prepared in another factory somewhere has something else that you wouldn't have put, right? Without even being too hard.
When you got an ingredients label, that should be a fucking alarm.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need any label. Yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is for people to learn, like, so you might see the price of what a side of cow is and be like, holy cow, like, that's a lot of money. But then you actually look at how many pounds you're getting, like, all these different cuts that you're getting from one chunk, and then you pick it up and you're like, oh, I need a truck to get this? Like, I can't just put it in a couple bags in my car? Like, hopefully people will be a little bit more appreciative of that. And there are some people that have been inquiring about it as well. So, we're really hoping to support the community.
Just for a ballpark figure, Christie, what would a side of beef range? Depending on season or whatever, but what kind of a range could you look for, ballpark?
Weight-wise or cost-wise?
I mean, like, so if a customer wants to pick up this, a side of beef, I mean, just for the guys who's curious out there.
Probably around 1,500.
Yeah.
So and with that, like, you're getting months and months of meat, right? Just to tell people, like, you're getting freezers full of meat, and you're getting stuff that, and it's one animal too. That's one thing of it, right? It's one.
You're getting one animal start to finish, but you're gonna get short ribs. You're gonna get all these types of meals. Yeah. But you gotta also be smart enough to understand you're not gonna eat beef every single day.
Yeah, well, I do, but most people don't.
You'll throw in a chicken, or or pork, or this. That. But if you spend $1,500 on beef, that should last you almost 8 months.
Sure, yeah, makes
sense. Depending on your family size, but
yeah, you're right. And now to go back to the organs, for example, what do you carry as far as organs? Yeah, do you carry like liver, heart, kidney, brains? How far do you go?
Brains, no. We just ordered in heart, kidneys, and scalded tripe.
Oh, tripe, nice.
Yeah, and we're bringing rabbits back in, and we'll have having them send the organs with it as well. So, there's not a lot of demand for it for human consumption. It definitely doesn't go to waste. We do make our own dog food, and we know that they need bones, they need organs, they need muscle. Like, you can't just throw hamburger down in a dog dish and expect it to be nutritious.
Because they're much like us, they need the full.
Exactly.
You need to eat that. So we do sell a lot of chicken offal.
Yeah.
Nice. Like that. Hearts, gizzards.
A lot of it.
Yeah, livers, I love gizzards. Yeah. Chip chop, like you said, growing up.
You don't make a good gravy unless you throw that in there, man.
Exactly. So I guess the other question is, if someone comes to you then and specialty orders as well, if they say, "Can I get beef brain?" Is that possible? Pig brain? Are these possible?
Brain, not so much.
Not so much, okay. Because in my little world that I'm seeing, some people are going to that world of brain, but it's usually in the States. I don't know if there's much in Canada, but.
No, like, the problem we have up here is you have to buy everything bulk, 60 pounds, and most of it, when it comes to organ meat, if not 90%, 100% of it's frozen.
Yeah.
So I get a 60-pound box of hearts. One heart's going to weigh like 4 pounds.
Yeah.
They're big, and so I got to thaw them out. Then everyone wants fresh, and I'm like, well, no, it's frozen. I'm like,
yeah.
What do you want? Like, you think I could just go pull the heart out of this animal right now?
Exactly. So that would have to do with the market, the availability. I mean, downtown Toronto, I might be able to find fresh brain.
You got
I think so?
3.3 million people.
Yeah.
You're lucky you got 60,000 that eat up here.
It's true. Yeah. Half of them are afraid of meat.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. So, and then, but it is good to see. I mean, you said you do sell liver, of course, but it's not, not the most popular thing. But I do want to touch on the idea that I'm noticing as well through my own research and even just my own experimentation that I do need more than just steaks. You can't, even just me, I'm a big fan of the carnivore diet. I need organ meat. You
feel your body craving.
Absolutely. I need these minerals. I need bone marrow, right? Like I also buco, I love the bone marrow, right? If I can get marrow bones, I'll
Put
eat
the meat
that.
on the side. I'll eat it later. Just give me the marrow.
Exactly, and it's delicious. And I think that once a lot of people start going towards this route, even just eating more natural, right? Just take away the box shit for to start. But then as you're eating more and more, like you said, get back to the recipe of try some liver. I guarantee you, somebody in your family has a recipe for liver. It's going to taste good.
Yeah.
Because the reason why we're here today is because someone ate that stuff and we're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They realize, well, we had to eat this. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's a big thing. Nobody makes soup anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, but a lot of that's the sinews and all that got boiled down, and
Yes. Yeah, all the collagen. All the
that's
connective
how
tissue.
a lot of people. And look at how bone broth. Oh, this magical broth.
Top dollar.
Where did this come from?
Yeah, I know.
No one's heard of this stuff before.
I'm pretty sure. I feel like the
Drove me
first
nuts.
day. It's funny. I feel like the first day my dad ever saw bone broth on TV, he called me. He's like, "What the fuck is this? You mean stock?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's stock, pa. It's just stock. It's the same thing." It's you can let it boil for 100 hours if you want. Sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it's funny. Like with the carnivore diet, and I need more of those minerals. So it's funny. I actually boil bones and I let them mineralize a little bit, and I do. You know, and I you need those salt, especially something like sodium. When you don't have so much sugar in processed foods, right? You actually need sodium. So it's interesting that, but it's good to hear that like the business is kind of, you know, definitely staying afloat, which is great. It's nice to see that nice to hear that you guys pivoted. Now, you said it kind of, since June, it's kind of been a little bit more back to normal, kind of like a typical summer? Are people coming in for kind of regular stuff since that, or is it still slow, a little bit slower now?
Both.
Yeah.
Unpredictable.
It is.
Every day, you don't know, day to day.
Yeah. Wow.
The way we were tooled when we opened with our new vision of moving forward, we had our pizzeria, our bakery. Our baker left to be a meat cutter.
Go figure.
But no, the best for him. But we noticed everyone's like, "Oh, you're doing great. You're doing great. You must be. You own a butcher shop." Well, I had to shut down the pizzeria. I had to shut down the bakery. I had to shut down the deli. We had to shut down we bought a big commercial barbecue. I had to shut that down all summer.
Wow.
Like, I lost 5 avenues.
Yeah. And you have to adjust and
just to do the one thing because staffing was gone. And now trying to restaff as we're open.
Tough. Yeah.
Well, we still can't do the barbecues. Our deli, everyone's upset because we're not doing it the same way we used to. Like, we can't. It's like we have to. We can't let you eat for free in the middle of the shop with all these people. Like, you can't just sample anything off, you know, here and there. Like, it's got to.
It's changing times right now, and hopefully things will get relaxed again, I guess.
But you always have the people who move past it, and you have the people that stay behind. It's
Now, you mentioned earlier about kind of hunting season. What does that look like for you guys? People come right in and say, "Hey, I got a deer, I got moose," or they let you know ahead of time, or what's that like?
They let us know. They don't let us know.
You just come and drop it down.
I got to skin this in your parking lot. And there'd be a river of blood at my back door. It depends on heat. You in our last video, I believe we did a little bit of a tour.
Yeah.
But that back cooler, just gonna be packed.
Wow.
Moose, elk, bear, deer, and then we also have the slaughtering season of the cattle. Turkeys are coming in. We just got 10 from one farmer. We got pigs coming in. We got cattle coming in.
So you slaughter them there as well? No, they after the
no. Yeah, everything's done through on their end. I don't, don't ask me no questions. I tell you all that.
Yeah, it just comes to you dead. And
that's not my job.
As far as the game goes, Nick has done some skinning, depending, like, mostly just deer and bear.
Yeah, okay. What's that like? How's butchering a bear?
It looks like a person.
Which is why I asked you with a terrified look on my face.
Yeah, no, because they hang upside down, but the way their muscle tissues and their front arms rotate, they look like the way you're sitting.
Wow.
Yeah, just like that.
Wow.
So when it's upside down and they got the head on, then because I fuck with the kids.
When is it enough to get down there and watch you with one of those butchering? So that's all the local, like, really. So me and my dad, or wherever we go hunting, we pick up a deer. I can give you a call, whatever.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
and then you
Shoot it in the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, shoot it in the head. Yeah.
Yeah, please shoot it in the head.
Yeah.
Don't go for the lung.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So when they come in, right? Are they a mess sometimes?
Sometimes we ask why they even brought it in.
Really, just bad
Yeah.
shape?
Oh yeah, like we've had deer that was shot 6 times.
Oh,
You know, we've had well last year, like I even had a knife stuck in my hand. They broke it off in the hide and they didn't tell me.
jeez.
So I went and go grab it, and I went and pushed on the hind quarter, and the
Oh.
blade went into my hand. I was not happy.
Yeah, I bet.
I will even ask, is there any bullets or anything like
Yeah.
that? I'm like, oh no, we got it. Everything's good. And then
Wow.
sure enough, there's a bullet. There's a bullet.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
there's another bullet.
You're going through the solid and ting, and friggin' there goes a bullet.
Wow.
Yeah, so
So that
It's a lot of
PPE is important, man.
yeah. But
So yeah, like so I guess you like turkey, anything around there, right? That people catch essentially.
yeah, no, we I won't. People bring me fish, I won't do it.
No.
It's I piss off.
Yeah, I know.
And we're also
A lot of
very
work for a little
pro-
reward.
Yeah.
Very pro like no waste. So if the hunters they don't want the bones, we have a local trapper here. He'll come and pick up the bones, use them in his traps. The bears, they don't want the head, the paws. We donate them to the indigenous community, and they use them for their medicines. And
Same with the fat.
yeah, and even like the hides, if we're skinning them and they don't want their hide, we'll call some people up that we know. Hey, do you want this? Do you have a use for it? And
And we don't charge for it. We get it's free. You keep passing things on. That's like even when we brought produce in, like why it's so expensive? Because you got to throw half of it out when you get it.
yeah,
It's true.
Like it's already rotten when you get it, and that's. But we were giving it away like almost for free.
Wow.
Like people need it, you can't find it.
Yeah.
It's just going to waste. So here, 30 cents for a pound of apples. Come on.
Yeah. Wow. So I guess just to touch on, maybe the hunters that come in. So I guess a moose would be kind of the biggest thing that comes in, or a bear. What's bigger, a moose, a bear?
Yeah, no, moose is big.
Yeah.
Moose is pretty big.
And then I guess elk are pretty big as well, right?
No, they're pretty hollow.
Oh, are they?
So a moose, an average size moose, we get in on our rail is about 450 to 550.
Okay.
The average size bear we get maybe 70 pounds. Fuck, I chased one off my front door the other day.
70 pounds. That seems small. Is that fair?
It is. They're black bears. They're like you can pump these things.
Jeez.
Like,
And these are
I would
adults.
say go to Alberta and try doing it with their grizzlies, but when you go in Ontario, black bear, most of the time you're bigger than them. Like I'm 220, and this bear was running from me.
Wow. And this is like an adult bear, full grown.
Yeah, full grown bear.
It has this picture that they're these massive, the grizzlies, I guess.
Yeah, everyone, you like.
I mean they're definitely intimidating if they're up.
And they're still dangerous.
On their hind legs.
I was just cutting up elk, and I come home late, and then I walk in my front door. I'm talking to my wife. I look over, and there's a bear right behind me.
Jeez.
So I just turned around, threw my arms up, and started running at it. And so then he took off a bit, and I was like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I'm bigger."
Louder. And
Yeah.
Wow, that's funny. I guess. Other than that, what do you guys think is going to be the kind of the next step? I guess, or I guess with COVID, right? I guess school starting soon is going to be the next real test, right? We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, that's going to go fairly smooth. I hear some places are doing kind of their staggered entries and things like that. But I guess maybe even kind of on a personal level, on what you guys are doing kind of at home. How's everybody dealing with the COVID thing? It's been a long 6 months. It seems like the March break that never ended. I've been seeing that, and it really does feel like that. What do you guys say?
I feel like it's been the moose season that's never ended. Like we're here 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
When in the thick of COVID, we would just go home just to come back, like a quick shower, nap, and like it's my boy's going to be going to school for his first time.
Uh,
So
interesting.
my wife works at the hospital, and
Yeah,
So
so
it's
you've
just
been living with it then, yeah, you know.
Yeah. Like for the first little bit, like it was more like a FaceTime to see each other.
Yeah,
And
scary.
For me, it's kind of back to normal now. I don't have kids, so I'm not really worried about school. It was tough in the beginning because I'm from Southern Ontario, and that was the hot spot. Everything was closed. You couldn't even leave the Algoma region without having to quarantine.
I know.
And I mean, I was so busy here, there was no time to do anything anyways. But like, we had this whole cottage planned with my parents, my siblings, and you know, it's been a long time since all of us were in one place at the same time. Obviously, a kibosh on that.
Yeah.
But it's nice now that things are sort of going back. Like I had a death in the family. I was able to go home and still see my family and come back.
Good.
Meanwhile, Nick's losing his mind over here by himself. But you know, like it was nice to actually be able to see them. I hadn't seen my sister in almost a year, so that was tough. But you know. And same with like my grandfather that passed away. The last time I'd seen him was Christmas. I couldn't see him. He was in a home, you know, you couldn't have visitors and all this. So yeah, it had been tough, but it seems to be somewhat normal now. I've just kind of, everyone says, oh, when things go back to normal. And I'm like, this is normal now. This is the new normal. Like, there's the really before times and there's now. Like, it's not going to go back.
It's like, remember before we wore masks? I know. It's like, you know, I'm reminded.
Post-COVID.
Yeah, and this is a good reminder of me as well, or just this shows us how like master adapters we are, right? We just adapt to anything, you know, good and bad. You know, some people will say that some people will say that we overreacted. Some people say we underreacted. Doesn't matter, because the fact is we're going to get through this. We're going to, like you said, you take care of your family, you take care of your loved ones. But then also take care of your neighbors, right? And I really want to commend you guys for doing what you're doing. It sounds like you're really part of the community there, and I really love that. You know, as growing up in the Sioux, you know, growing up with my dad and my uncle being a part of the business, both of our families were always part of the restaurant business. It always made a lot of sense that we were part of the community, right? And I like to hear that you guys are doing that. And I like the idea that you guys are, you know, really teaching, and you're looking forward to teaching the next generation, right? Because it's not just a business, right? You're teaching people why it's good to be a butcher, why it's good to be a meat cutter and enjoy your meat, or you know, just take part in the knowledge of your food and where your food's coming from and good nutrition is coming from. So I really love what you guys are doing there. Any kind of parting words that we can leave with our listeners and our viewers? I see you got the background, the sign there in the back, which is perfect. Meet the Butcher. Your phone number there, 705-759-0809. And again, what's your location? Sorry, 11 White Oak Drive, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So just thanks again for having us, and
thanks to our community for supporting us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know,
we're really upset we couldn't do our charity rib fest this year, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When do you normally do that?
I don't even know anymore. It's been so long.
It was supposed to be in June. Last year, so 2019, we did it in May. So 2020, we were going to do it in June, but can't exactly have large gatherings and all kinds of food. So.
I propose we do a rib fest drive through, but I got stuff.
You do like a virtual Zoom off or something.
Well, listen. At the same time.
Well, listen. If you ever want to get into the YouTube channels on you know, recording videos and stuff like that, and you like butchering stuff, let me know. I would definitely like to be part of that. That's really cool, and I think people like that stuff because I know that it's, like you said, it's teaching them, it's educating them, but at the same time, it's visual, right? We're such visual learners, and we're in the YouTube age, whether we like it or not.
That could be the way I don't want to give it away I don't know when this is going to come in air, but like that could be the way we go with our side of beef, whole beef package, you know? Sure. Like you get it, you got to subscribe to the channel. It's not going to be, you have to get the package to get, you know, because like I said, we want to keep it, we got to bring the youth into it. If we keep coddling, they're not being brought in, they're being given it. Yeah. They're being kept outside and just handed something. Yeah. So.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, good or bad, McDonald's did it. McDonald's got to the children. We got to get to the children in the good message, right?
Got to get toys.
Get toys. Happy Meals, whatever you got to do, Floyd, dance for them, whatever.
Right. Get 2 T-bones, a burger, and.
And Christie will sing a song for you.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure. And this will be out. Actually, well, it's Friday, so the day before, but we'll have it out tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you
Thank
guys
you.
soon.
Thanks for having us. Good to
All right.
see
Stay
you.
safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's say bye to everybody. And we'll say thanks for listening. Say thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.